How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Make sure I'm right on this thing. I don't do this. There we go. All right, gotcha. There we go. We live, y'all. We are live. We are live here with B.O.W.S. As you know, my wife normally is hosting this wonderful program with you guys. Make sure you like and share. Make sure you share with a friend. You can catch us on YouTube. B.O.W.S on YouTube. You can also catch us on Facebook. Watch out on the sorry, all not the way. Catch us on her web page, Beauty Bowls, and just support the vision. As you know, her motto is talking about the beauty of a woman's strength and empowering women, their nature. We want you to like and share. We have a special surprise today for the man in your life, the father in your life, whether it be your husband, whether it be your brother. We got a special basket that we're giving away. We're going to wait a little bit to give you the way of getting that basket and everything. I have with me awesome brother, awesome pastor, awesome father. Pastor Keith Welly is here with me today, and we're going to talk about the importance and the impact that fathers have on their children, primarily their girls. Amen. All right. Also, real quick shout out to Lady B, who is the visionary, jump dead center, who is the visionary of Beauty Bowls. And she's doing such an awesome job. Make sure you like and share. Make sure you share this post. Invite somebody to come on and watch this show. I do believe that there is something that we're going to talk about today will really be impactful with everyone that will watch this show. The title of the show is Daddy's Little Girls. We're talking about fathers and the daughters that need. And as you know, one of the stigmas that a lot of we were talking about it just before you came on air, on the fact of how lackluster the response on Father's Day can sometimes be, and how us and it seems as if fathers are real fathers seem like to be a dying breed. You're seeing more single parent homes that primarily are mothers. And it's not that there are not fathers out there, but the fact of the matter is a lot of situations happen, happen. We're gonna talk about that a little bit today in discussing the plight and the responsibility of fathers and their impact on their children, especially their daughters. So Pastor Welly, give a brief summary, give a brief description of your background in regard to this matter, because you are a father of two, if I'm not mistaken, and you're father of a boy and a girl.
Right.
What are some of the challenges or some of the things you find yourself having to go through in raising these two young people?
So I actually father of two, and we have a stepson, or like a godson that we kind of raised as well. He's 11, and the two, the boy and the girl, are twins. They just actually turned 19 yesterday.
Wow.
So although they're twins and although they're boys and girls, so that just shows you they are different personalities. From the beginning, each one had their own very special personality, personal trait. And you got to treat each one differently. You got to know each child and learn each child and treat them the way that that they can respond to. As a matter of fact, I remember in junior high school, for example, they went through the 3 or 4 years of junior high school, letting the teachers not knowing that they were actually related until their last year. I went there. I actually had the same math class, and I went there as I'm a father of Christian and Nia Whaley. They're like, I knew they were related. They told us they weren't related.
Wow.
See, there's just that's my kind of personality, because they're they're jokesters and tricksters, so
right.
But you got to treat each child differently, especially like a boy differently than a girl. For
Right.
for example, some girls love the nurturing, and the boys have to be a little bit more direct and strict. And each personality is different. Each trait is different. So not all kids are the same. Not all boys are the same. Not all girls are the same. I learned
Right.
that growing up. I still have my father in my life, so I've never been without having a father in my life, a father figure as a role model. So I kind of do the same for my children, make sure I'm in their lives and make sure I'm playing a role model in their lives. Because although we know sons need their fathers, but daughters need their fathers too, if not even more than the sons do. Because if not, when the daughters grow up, they go to search for that fatherly love or that fatherly attention that they may or may not have gotten from their father, from the earth, from the father that raised them, in seeking out a relationship. So
Right.
if it behooves us as fathers to instill the values of who our daughters are and instill the worth of how much our daughters are that mean to us, and how much they're worth, and they're worthy of greatness. They're worthy of the best. They're worthy of being taken care of. They're worthy of not taking any junk. So
Right.
if I told my daughter, the guy that has to come up after me to take her hand in marriage should hate me,
Right.
because because my daddy did this, my daddy did that, and I don't take this, I don't take that. So the guy that married my daughter should be like, you know what? Yeah, your dad has such a high bar, high standard,
Right.
raising our daughters. That's very important. That's very key.
And it's funny you said that because me personally, um when I was growing up, I always like had an idea of being married and being a father. That was I think every, and this is no lie, every girl I ever had a crush on at that nature was always with the mindset, I'm going to marry this girl and we're gonna have kids. And a lot of that came from the fact of like the relationship I had with my dad. Like my relationship with my dad was such a good relationship and such a great impactful relationship that it made me want to be a father. I want to share this connection, this love, this kind of like relationship with another living being. And being the fact that I am the father of a 6-year-old girl who thinks she's about to turn 30. Like I see the level of like connection that we have and we've developed over time. And like, yo, I'll just have this conversation with someone earlier today in regards to that. And I claim saying like, yo, like I had my daughter at the right time. And my daughter really, like, it's something about a love from a daughter to a father. And I told him like the only kind of way you can describe it is a love that a mother has for a son. It's the reverse. Like it just it hit different. Like they love you for just, if you're a good, even if like initially they love you as if like you're like, yo, just the fact that you exist makes me love you. You have to perform, you have to do a magic trick, and you have to fix one truck, one bike. Just the fact that you're daddy makes me love you. And that's a very precious thing to have, because I told somebody before, like, sons admire their fathers, but daughters love their fathers. And that's a different, like and they love, you're your daughter's first true love if you're operating in the way you should. So speak to that. Like you have a son. Is the love different that you receive from your daughter the first when you receive from your son? Like you see like a difference in how they approach you?
I think the difference for me, for when I relate to my son as to my daughter, it's the same but different.
Right.
I love them the same, but I love them differently. Like my daughter, I love more nurturing. My son, I would kind of show him things and teach them things differently and how to treat a woman. And I teach my daughter how to be accepted and how to be a girl, be a woman. You know, um, yeah, and it's funny because your love for your child grows as they grow, because you love them differently as they do things and as they grow more and mature and go throughout their walks in life and do through different accomplishments. Your love for them grows, and their love for you should grow in the same
Right.
manner. It's funny when you were saying how you always saw yourself as a father. I That was like somewhere in the back of my mind when I was growing up. I was still doing kids things and playing games and trying to establish myself as a career. When I got, I started working, and then I didn't really want the desire or feel the need to have a children until after actually 9/11,
Right.
where when that happened, I was supposed to be going into the World Trade Center that day, but my shift was a different shift that week. So I was going in later than expected. So, but if I had gone in my normal shift, I actually would have been at the towers when that first plane would have hit, and I could probably not be here right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I could have been out of here and left no legacy.
Wow.
So I was like, wow, I that's my desire, to leave a legacy,
Yeah.
here on the earth.
Mortality has a way of making you think about what happens after you're gone.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, because you realize you're not going to be here forever, but
yeah.
you want to leave an impact.
Right.
And right, and the more the more the more you want to teach, the more you want other people to learn, and and to grow, and to leave your legacy like an indelible print here on this earth.
And
People
you know what? And you know what, man? That right there is a mouthful, because men have to understand that how you treat your children, how you love your children, how you love, whether it's your spouse or the person you have the child with, how you treat them with respect, that really does leave an impact or an imprint on the earth that you leave.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you'll be in a situation, you see somebody who's a widow, and you see that they're really distraught. You know that you're like, yo, man, they really love their husband, or their husband really loves them.
Right.
So you can sense that connection that the children have with the parents, and like and like all that kind of stuff. So like that's really impactful, man. Like, yo, how we love our daughters, how we love our sons, leaves an imprint on the earth after we're gone. Because I've been to plenty of funerals where you're like, yo, they didn't love, something wasn't right. There's something wasn't right. Like there's no, you sense like they're there because they have to be there, or it's the right thing to do, and not a desired thing. I don't hear it. Right thing. Question. So how is it that, and you also live in a blended family? What are some of the struggles that you had to go through, and with loving them through a transitional situation, and how were you able to bring that together?
The struggle still continues. It's basically just communication. That's one of the biggest struggles between me and the children's mother, and also just communicating with the children as well, letting them know that although I may have divorced their mother, I will never divorce them.
Right.
And it's, they're still always going to be a part of my life. They're always I'll always have that same love and same feelings for them, no matter what. Although me and their mother may not be together, but it's just actually now you have two homes. When I talk to them, when we got divorces, now you have two homes. Now you have your mother's home and your father's home. Now you have double the love. And then when I got married to Holly, now they also have another mother type figure. They call her Nani, the help in the raising it and the showing, and the God-fearing life that the way they should go, and give them examples. And she's helped them out a lot, especially spiritually.
Yeah.
So it takes, and it behooves us to let that communication go and grow. And so we're always open and always communicating to each other, to the kids, let them know that they can actually grow into the men and the woman that they're going to be.
Yeah, and good you brought it up, because I think a lot of time what happens, and one of the dangerous things I've observed, and thank God I never in my story, that one thing I've observed is sometimes, depending on the nature of the relationship that the mother and the father has, sometimes the children can be used as pawns in those scenarios. You know what I'm saying? They kind of like manipulate or kind of like use it as a way of getting back, or hamstringing the other individual. And that's a very dangerous thing. I want to advise those who are watching the view, like the most important thing at that moment is the welfare of the child, because you two are adults. You know what I'm saying? If the child didn't choose to be here, the child didn't choose their mom, the child choose their dad. Like, yo, this is a situation where they were born into a scenario, and you can make things difficult and toxic. But it's had to be difficult and toxic because, like you said, for communication and maturity of like, yo, like this is where we are. We made the decision, but we can't let this decision affect the health and the well-being of our child or our children we have together. That's a very dangerous thing. I heard so many countless stories of good fathers who really are good fathers who are going through the ringer with whoever they had the child with the mother of their child, it's causing like very toxic situations to make it difficult for them to see their child, or make it like almost like risky to go see their child. So what do you do to speak to a guy who may be struggling with that aspect, that they're not amicable with their ex or with the mother of their child? How do they navigate through that?
Just always remember that, like, the love you'll have for your child, that will never change. And sometimes, like you said, the relationship you might have with the child's mother might have changed, but also realize that just as they are your child, your children, they're also that mother's child and that children. So that they still love their mother the same way they should love you. So you should never impact that relationship. Although me and their mother may not get along, they'll never hear me say anything negative about her.
Yeah.
So you always got to be upfront and like take it for the team. Just like never be the one to down the other parent in front of the children. Never let them hear you downgrade their parent, because to you they might be the ex, but for them that's their parent.
Yeah, it's their mom, and
right? Right, and your choice should not affect, because your choice should not affect what they've been born into. Like you said, they didn't ask to come into the world; they just came here by chance. So your choice should not affect their chances.
Yeah, and I think we have to work on, really as adults, having healthy, functional relationships. I think if we work on having healthy, functional relationships, it won't, like, we'll be there. It won't trickle down to the kids, because kids, if you present sides, kids will pick a side.
Right.
Like if you present it where, like, yo, I'm on this end, I don't like it, like, and it's dangerous. Like, how could you, like, it's a very different thing, because you're turning that child's emotions and feelings towards their father or toward their mother in a negative tone, and you backfire on you, because they're like, yo, you talking about mom, like, I don't care what, that's still mom or that's still dad. And we have to have that communication, and we have to really work on the impact, and work on the communication and coming together and raising children, and not using our kids as pawns.
As pawns,
and that's a very dangerous thing. And both of us have our PKs. Both of us are raised by Christian fathers. We were joking about it earlier, how, like, your dad, my dad pretty much ran a Christian school like forever. So like what was some of the challenges that you had growing up and like trying to translate what you saw growing up to your kids now? Like, what are some of the challenges as far as that concerned?
That one of the things growing up, like you said, we're PKs. So church is very vital, very important in our lives. Going to church all day Sunday, like several times throughout the week, almost every night throughout the week. That you were almost raised to the point of that your church was more important than your family.
Yeah.
And that is not the way it's supposed to be. I'll say it again for anybody that's listening. That is out of order. When God creates things, he creates things decently and in order, right?
Right.
So when he created things, he created the heavens and the earth, and he created every living thing on the earth before he created man. So he got everything established, and he brought man into the picture to put things in order and to have dominion and rule over those things. And they brought man and woman together, and that was the first family.
Right.
And from then on, they have different tribes and different families. It wasn't until thousands of years later before the church was established. So if God wanted the church to be more important than your family, you think he would made the church before he made the family?
Nah.
Right. So that's one thing I learned, because growing up, we didn't have vacations or like a real vacations like my friends did growing up until I was a teenager. Because every time it was a summertime or vacation or whatever, we were always going to church meetings or always going to conventions and things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was a teenager like, Dad, can we ever have like a real vacation? It wasn't until then we went down to Waycross, Georgia, and that's where the church body came out of. A lot of big church bodies came out of there. But on the way back, we actually stopped and did a few days in Disney. So that was the first time. So I knew that when I was going to have a family, my family is going to come first. So I'm a pastor of a church, and I told them from the jump, look, my family comes first. If something were to come up that would have to make me choose between my wife or my family and this church, I'm going to choose my wife and my family. Because why? This is my wife, and that, right, in the family. This church is God's bride.
Right.
So how dare I put my wife to the side to deal with somebody else's bride? Because if I die, my wife's going to be affected. But if I die, the church hopefully should go on.
Yeah.
So I always want to treat my children that way, that they are important. They come before everything else. God is first in our lives, of course. But as far as how we relate as a family, they come first.
And the funny you said it, because I think us as men, we're occupationally driven. Like, we're driven by objective. We're driven by goals. And sometimes when you're like one time when you're occupationally driven, you lose the relational aspect of the situation because you're so tunnel vision on. I gotta make this money. I gotta get this business up and running. I gotta go this job, that job. And at the end of the day, your family is lost without you being present because you're never really present.
Right.
Like you're never really present because your body may be here, but your mind may not. And then your mind may be here, but your body's so broken down that you can't really give the energy that's necessary for the family.
Right.
So like the question, how do we as men find that balance? How do we as men find that balance to make that happen?
Here's the thing: it's not a balance; it's a priority.
Yeah,
your family should come first, and we need to realize that as fathers, our children need our presence, presence, more than our presence, presents. They need us more than the gifts. They can get gifts anywhere else. They can get presents anywhere else, but only your father plays that role, plays that vital part in their lives. We need to be there for them more than we provide for them. Because at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, when I'm laid under the ground, 6 feet under the ground, here's the difference. You're going to either leave a legacy or inheritance or both. And there's a difference. Wow. Leaving an inheritance is it's the money that you give to your children by a will, things like that. And you spend an inheritance. But if you leave your legacy, that's your presence. That's the stories. That's the things that you tell. You don't spend a legacy. You share a legacy.
Right.
Something that never goes out.
Yeah. You
If I
believe it.
spend my inheritance, it's gone. But if I share
Yep.
a legacy or share a story, it just grows and it exponentially grows from there on.
And you know what? I think a lot of time what happens with us is we get bogged down, especially black men. We get bogged down with so much of the pressures of the present day that it's hard for us to even think about future. Because because a lot of people are just trying to make it through that day. Like I'm just trying to get through the day. Let me get these bills for this month paid. I'm not thinking about laying up. I'm not thinking about a Roth account. I'm not thinking about none of that. I'm not thinking about our age. No, right now, let me get through this month, and boom, we'll do it next month. And like we live our life from paycheck to paycheck, and that's not just from our that's from an emotional standpoint. Like we live our lives pretty much like from day to day, just trying to get through the day. So when we come home, I think a lot of times people don't understand the frustration that we go through silently in our minds. And mental health is a real thing. It is not no play stuff. Mental health is a real thing, and sometimes we're not able to really be there for our significant others or mainly for our children. We need to be there because we're dealing with the struggle. Like we're too busy trying to decompress from the 12-hour work day we just had, or a conversation we may have with their moms, or or with another family member, issues they may have to deal with that had nothing to do with our kids. That like how do we effectively what do we say to that young man that's struggling like that, and what do we do in regard to help them decompress so they can be adequate fathers for their children?
Just know that we're not alone. There's an old African proverb: it takes a village to raise a child. So rely on that village. Rely on the people around you. You can't do it all yourself. You know, we're trying to perform. We're trying to put on performance every time at our job. We try to perform at with our friends. We try to perform with our wife or with our children. We try to perform. And men operate in boxes. There's a box for work. There's a box for family. There's a box for play. There's a box for intimacies, right? And there's this one big box in the middle. It's called the empty box, and that's home base. That's where we like to go, where there's nothing going on. My wives, they get upset when you ask their husband, "What are you doing? Or what are you thinking about?" And we say nothing because we're not. And for women, they can't. They don't do that because they're like spaghetti. Everything is intertwined, going on at the same time at the same time. So they can't understand that, God made us different, but God made us need each other. So he made us differently. So men operate compartmentally, in compartments and boxes. And so we need to make sure that our boxes are intact. And, we spend time in the different boxes and go to different ones. And when we need help in any area, it's okay to get help. It's okay to ask for help. We're not here alone. God says, "I want you to be prosper and good health, even as your soul prospers." So if you need spiritual help, go to prayer, go to somebody that can pray for you, pray you through. If you need mental help, psychiatry, or talk to a counselor, I highly recommend it, especially growing up in church. Church is so long the days, growing up. Oh, you better not go to psychiatrist. You better not go to a doctor. They talk about, you better pray about it. Some things are not everything is spiritual. Sometimes you do got a mental issue going on in your life, and you need somebody to help talk you off the ledge. It's not all spiritual all the time. People get so deep, so heavily minded. There's no earthly good. Sometimes you need spiritual help. Sometimes you need mental help. God help me, do this, and I keep thinking about this. I keep thinking about that. I come against that suicide. Sometimes you need to talk to somebody and counseling to get you off that ledge. Just like if you're fat and you're overweight, you're gonna pray that weight off,
or you go to the gym,
or get some nutrition counseling. Get the help that you need. We're not in this alone.
Right. And I tell people all the time, man, you got one or two options. You go to the altar, go to the couch. Sometimes you need both, the altar and the couch. So like I'll tell you anything, like, yo, get that help. Because to be honest, I'd rather you go get help than for you to snap. Because it's so many situations. Like I just seen a video, real sad video. Facebook shows everything. It's not too many things. But there's a video where this young man was doing a Facebook Live, and he was barricaded into an apartment because he just killed his mother of his child, and he snapped. And from what the scripture said, I believe it said that he eventually took his own life. But like this, like who was there to help him not snap to that point? And we've been going, man, yo. First of all, us as black men have been going through things 400 years. Men over time. But like us as black men going 400 years, and then you bring the pandemic, you bring societal, cultural issues. All these things are bombarded on our minds. And then we're wondering about, hey, what's up, Mike Shy? I hear you, bro. We're wondering about why men are snapping or just checking out. And some of it because, like, yo, we are under immense pressure.
Right.
Pressure, like we are like good men. Men are not willing. I'm talking about the men that these deadbeats that have babies and don't take care of them and leaving the kid, leaving the mom. I'm talking about good men because we're so rare. Like, yo, we deal with the pressure of expectations, the pressure of like performance, the pressure of having to provide, protect, the pressure of how we perceive by the people that we love, all this pressure being on us and on our minds and our show, like, yo, we're suffering silently, and like, yo, and Jake said one time, like, we could be screaming, you don't hear us.
It's a silent scream.
Because we're screaming silently that we need help. Because we've been taught by culture asking for help is a sign of weakness when it's not.
It's not a sign of strength. Here's the thing.
Right, sign of strength.
But here's the thing. When the last miracle that Jesus performs when he raised Lazarus from the dead, right? He waited till the 4 days till, back then they thought the spirit hovered around the body for 3 days. He purposely waited an extra day just to prove who he was. And then when he did, he called Lazarus out of the grave. Lazarus come forth. Lazarus come out bound in the grave clothes, all bounded up, and his mouth covered, and his face covered, and everything, right? What are the after Jesus did his miracle, Lazarus was alive, right? You think the story will be over? No. The next thing he told them, he told the people that were around Lazarus to loose him and let him go. So Jesus performs his miracle, but it's up to us, the church and the community, to loose our brothers and let them go. It's one thing to be saved and experience salvation, but it's another to be delivered. A lot of churches, a lot of places are getting people saved, but we're not getting delivered because we won't do the work. We won't get rid of the bandage. We won't take the bandage off the person's mouth. We won't take off the shackles or the things that they were bound with sin off of them. We won't let them go and let them be free.
Yeah.
It's up to us. It's up to the church, up to the community to be there for each and everybody. There's no reason for men to have to go anywhere else to get free. There's no reason for children to have to go anywhere else to get loved and get cared for. There's no reason for mothers to have to go anywhere else to get protected and provided for. We should be able to do that.
And you know what? That's why the most important structure in society is really family. Like you're supposed to get that love, that care, primarily from your family. And then it goes abroad. And I think we have to bring an emphasis on making sure, like, the family structure is better, is more together than what it is, and it starts with the man. It starts with us. You know what I'm saying? It starts with being the example. It starts with us being the ones who are being the first example of love, sacrifice, protection, safe place, that kind of stuff. And then it starts with, then it spreads out to us connecting with each other and making sure people are all right, man. Like yo, you got some good fathers out there. Got some lousy ones, but you got
Mm-hmm.
some good fathers out there that all they need is a place where they can just like breathe,
Mm-hmm. Right.
like breathe, like breathe for a moment, like breathe
Mm-hmm.
and get that pressure off,
Mm-hmm.
and be a place where they can be vulnerable to decompress
Mm-hmm.
and just get to that empty box
Right.
because there's some solace and some self-healing and some self-soothing that can happen in that empty box, that when I come out this box, I'll be able to handle this compartment better.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But when I come out this box, I'll be able to love you and deal with you better, be a better husband, be a better father, be a better friend. Um, but like, yo, I think this is a season where there's a lot of healing that to go on in the hearts and minds of
Mm-hmm.
men.
Right.
And,
And I
and,
think
and,
that's
and
very
like,
important as
yeah,
a father out there to be that place where fathers provide. One of the things fathers provide for their family, other than the structure and things like that. One of the jobs of a father is provide covering.
yeah,
Right. So that means that anybody under the covering of that father, anybody under that cover, can be free to be exposed and free to be themselves. And what that leads them to hopefully be free to be healed and free to be developed. Right. It's
right,
one thing to be covered and to be developed. It's another to be uncovered and not developed and be exposed out there, to have all your flaws out there for all the world to see and take
right,
advantage of. It's like, I say sometimes, back in the day, you remember the photo mat with the booth, and you
right,
just get your film, your film, and you have to be in a dark room to be developed,
right.
right? And if you expose it before it's being developed, the picture is ruined, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times we have ruined men out there with ruined relationships because we haven't been developed properly. We haven't been to a place where we can be covered and we can be
Right.
healed. So we need to be that place that heals. We need to be that
Yeah,
place that provides the shelter, the covering. Say it's okay. Be vulnerable. Be all you. And you don't have to stay the way you are. You can grow, and you can be developed and healed from that. And then when it's time, you can be not just exposed, but show your development for all the world to see.
right, right. And to be honest, I think a lot of time what happens is you have undeveloped people having babies with undeveloped people,
Mm-hmm.
and then producing like a situation where like, yo, child is birth in a scenario that is not good at first. Now,
Mm-hmm.
granted, you can grow and you can mature, and it don't have to always stay that way, and you can grow and mature as individuals. But like, yo, like, what have you exposed your child to?
Mm-hmm.
That now they're gonna get older and have to work through that stuff
Right. We should
and
always
and
we
try
should
to
always realize,
learn how to
yeah,
unlearn what they saw.
right.
Yeah,
Ceiling should be their floor.
right.
They should not have to go through everything that you went through to get where you are right now. For where you ended up, where you handed off to them, is where they should be able to go and moving on up. Because I always love for my children to have, for me to teach them something rather than have them to learn it on their own. But sometimes, we learn more, or we retain more by learning something. But I'd rather me teach them, tell them, don't do this, because don't touch the stove because the stove is hot, rather than them touching the stove and finding out that the stove is hot.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But
And,
we should always be in a mindset to teach our children as much as possible, you know, as much as life lessons we can, that so where we leave off is where they start off. And
and, and,
a lot of times we need to be, like fathers, that brag on their children, that brag on their son, on their daughter. sometimes we get jealous of our children, and we hold back information, or we hold back from them. We should not be that way, because God is God of more than enough. If He's blessed you with stuff, you should be able to bless them more, and they should be able to go on and on. You know,
Yeah.
God, when Jesus came down on the scene and the Holy Spirit rained down on him, sat on him like a dove, he said, "This is my son, whom I am well pleased." Right? You know, God made everything on the earth. He said it was good, but then He made His son and said, "This is my son, whom I'm well pleased."
And
when
you know what?
Jesus left the scene. Look, go and do these things you see me do. You are going to do more and greater. We always want to be able to do more than our predecessors, where we left off at.
A teacher always wants the student to be greater than them. That's one thing my spiritual fathers always tell us. That a real teacher always wants the student to be greater than they are.
Yep.
But then the student always know, I wouldn't be this great if it wasn't for the teacher. So we as fathers, we have to teach our children in such a way that they will be greater and succeed more, but we will always be their dad.
Right. And always remember, I learned this too while teaching, a teacher never stops learning.
Wow. Yeah.
Teacher, I learned the most when I teach.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you use it as an opportunity for the both of you to grow.
And like, we got Angie Baker up here. What's up, Angie Romali? To be honest with you, yeah, that's real. Like, we always in a posture. I'm learning every day, and sometimes I learned more about I've learned more about my relationship with God through my daughter than I could ever learn, like on my own. Because seeing how my daughter is so like my daughter sometimes comes in the room and he says, "Daddy, I just want to hug you." I don't want nothing. You need anything now? I don't need anything. I just want to hug you. Just want to be around you. Just want to be next to you. And that gave me an understanding. Like, wait a minute, hold on. That's how I should be with God. Like sometimes, like I don't want to be here. Like, I don't need no from you. I'm just here chilling. You know what I'm saying? Just waiting, and like, and it taught me so many things about like just life in general. And I became a better man, even the more so after I became a father, because now I've learned what it really means to love for someone more than yourself in a real way.
Right. Because you learned that it's more important to be present than to bring presents.
Right. You know what? And that's what it is, man. Like fathers out there, learn to be present. Like learn to be like in there and be in the moment. Like be in the moment. Don't miss out on moments. Create moments.
And celebrate moments.
Celebrate moments. Create scenarios. Don't like it's not I just dance with my daughter. And like, dance with daddy. And she's like, "Oh, daddy, okay." And she really can do it. And sometimes she do it like joyfully. But I'm creating moments. I'm creating memories that when she gets older, she'll be able to say, "I remember my dad dancing with my mom. I remember my dad dancing with me around the house." And that's a memory.
Yeah, one of my greatest joys is for me from when I get the chance to embarrass my kids.
Wow.
By just being there and acting crazy. Oh no, Dad, don't no.
Don't do that.
No. But in the back of their mind, they're like, okay, my dad's still here.
Yeah.
My dad does this, your dad doesn't,
My dad crazy.
Not that crazy.
Not that crazy.
You know what? Here's the thing they're saying. My dad is present.
Yeah, he's present, and that's a memory that they like. To this day, I laugh about stories that my dad has done, and like, but the memories of daddy. The memory that, and the thing I love about my father, in a sense, is saying that my dad instilled in us the aspect of not prioritizing church over family. That we took vacations. Like every year, we took 2-week vacation somewhere. I don't care if it was Florida. I don't care if it was going to Maryland. Was something where church wasn't an element. And that became a part of my life. We're like, yo, I can't tell them like this here. 3 weeks I'm not going to be here. Anniversary, family vacation, and family reunion. Mark them dates off. That's one day Pastor Boone will not be here. If I lose my religion, of me not being here them 3 days out of 52 Sundays a year, guess what? Me and Jesus ain't that close. You might not love me. But
because he's gonna be with me anyway. So
he's going. He with me. I take where I go anyway. So like that present, like learning to be present, learning to be in the moment, and realizing also that those who are married, like the first expression of love, how the child sees you and your spouse interact. Not so much how you interact with them, but how they see you interact, how they see you treat mommy, or how they see you treat daddy. And that trickles down to them being able to have healthy relationships when they get married.
Right. Because good or bad, they repeat what they see. You can teach a kid all the life lessons, but they're not gonna repeat what they see being represented. So if you have a bad relationship with your spouse, they're gonna have bad relationships. They're gonna 9 times out of 10 they're gonna have bad relationships too, but that's what they see because that's their normal.
Yep. That's their template. That's their blueprint. And they either get it by osmosis or get it by just actually like watching you. Because there's some things I realized I absorbed from my parents, and they never even talked to me. They didn't even discuss things with me. But because I was in the room, in the atmosphere, I constantly absorbed it. And when I got older, I realized I was relating to my wife the same way my dad related to my mom. That nature. And I had to change some things. But long story short, like, fathers are very important to their children, especially to their daughters.
Yep.
Especially their daughters. Now, real quick, I'm putting it out there so we can go back to our discussion real quick. We have a basket for men. Basket for men. Now everybody that knows men, like
both socks and ties.
No socks
and deodorant.
But actually for like men who are like into your cars, like you know somebody, like it's a whole wash kit where you wash your car at home. Most men know that your car is your moving, driving sanctuary. If you like most men, you like your car a particular way, but we have a basket for you today.
All right.
For one blessed individual that will be able to wash their car on their own with everything. I used to be a diesel, so I know it has its armor all. It has the best of the best of you to wash your car and take care of your car and that little me time, get the empty box that's you in your car and take that time out. Now the way to get this basket, is a real trivia question. On the show, on the movie, Tyler Perry, Daddy's Little Girl, what was the name of Idris Elba's character? He's the main character. If you can type in that name in the comment section within the next 10 to 20 minutes, the first one to name it will get that prize and we'll contact you and be able to get it to you. All right. Also, another announcement. On this coming Saturday, it is the women's tea time, right? The women's tea time is on this Saturday in Ewing, New Jersey. One quick second, let me confirm the address. One quick second. Hey, Sig!
You're not muted. There you go.
I'm about to be fired, y'all. She's gonna fire me. She's fired. It is Father's Day. I'm getting fired on Father's Day.
See?
I don't know why. You put it right on the thing, baby. 1 second, y'all.
Wow, he's gone. I'm gonna go Google the answer.
All right, we back, y'all. We back, y'all. Okay. Tea time is going to be this coming Saturday at June 18th at between 12 and 4 p.m. at 999 Lower Ferry Road at the Ewing Community Center. And the theme is going to be lemonade and roses. Ladies, you know how these tea times go. It is going to be awesome. And guess what? We already have a winner already for the basket, and that is Sister Angie Baker. The name of the main character was Monty. Monty was the name of the character with Daddy's little girl, and she is dead on. So, Molly, Angie Baker, we can get your information, get it out to you, and you're the lucky man in your life has a car wash kit coming his way, and let him go in his little empty box and wash his car.
Leave him in his box. Leave him in his box.
Don't go mess with his box.
Let him come out of his box on his own.
See, my empty box, my empty box was mad. That's my empty box. I go my empty box and I'll be there for like a minute and just spaz out. And then I got rid of that empty box or modified the empty box. Now a little bit of Candy Crush on the side. That's my empty box. That's my empty box. But real quick, what was the words that I know unfortunately there's some people out there that may be watching this live that may not have the relationship with their father they want to have. And then there's some men that may not have had a relationship with their daughter and want to rekindle that or reconnect that back. And then on another point, there's some people may have lost their father. And this is a rough time of the year for them because they're flooded with the memories of what was. And I heard a preacher say, if you don't want to grieve, don't love. Because love, grief is accompanied along with it. So what words of encouragement, what words of comfort and direction can you give those individuals that find themselves in a situation like that?
Although we may not have the relationship with a father or as a father as we might have liked to have had, we can still have that relationship with our Heavenly Father. God wants to be your father. Why? Because he loves you that much. So sometimes you can't get the love of a father because the father was not in your life or the father is no longer here. Some fathers have died recently. Or you may not have the relationship with your children and not be able to relate as a father because you've not been able to even have children. Those guys are out there. Some guys are out there desiring to be fathers, but they can't. And they're struggling and they're feeling less than a man. They're feeling less, worthless. But you are worth everything because God wants to be that father in your life. Just allow God to love on you. He sent his son as the first, the sent son, and he wants to relate to us the same way. He wants to relate to us as sons and daughters. So you always have that Heavenly Father, daughters and sons that are out there that loves you, that will never forsake you, that would never do you wrong, that desires for you to be developed, that desires to have be your covering, that desires your presence in his life. He'll never get tired of you. He'll never turn his back on you. He'll never die. He'll never leave you. There's that God as your heavenly Father wants to love on you and show you what it means to be loved, and show you what's to mean to be a son, show you what it means to be a daughter. So no matter what your situation might be in your particular area of your life right now, you have a Father that loves you. You have a Father that cares for you. And it's one thing to be a father over somebody that you give birth to by natural, and you love them basically because you have to, because that you're children. Otherwise, you pay child support. But it's another to be a father. True. But it's another to be a father and love somebody because you choose to, because you adopted them. And that's what God did for us. He adopted us as his sons and daughters. Why? Because he loved us. He's seen our report. He's seen what we've been through. He's seen our good and our bad and our ugly, but he still loves us just the same. He looks down on each and every one of us and says, you know what? I love you. I die for you. I'll give my life for you. And he did that just because he loves you. So take heart throughout this season, whatever you're going through. God is there. Your Father is there, and he loves you.
And learn the power of forgiveness.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is not for the other person. Forgiveness for you. That's how I second everything you said, Pastor Welly. That's Keith, right? Learn the power of forgiveness, man. Learn the power of forgiveness. And forgiving is synonymous with forgetting. And when I say forget, I'm not talking about like you mentally block out what happened, but the emotional attachment to it is no longer there. Where it's a memory with no feeling. That is how you forget. And learn forgiveness, man.
Yep.
Forgive that father, forgive that daughter, give that son. And like, yo, and life is short.
Right. Because forgiveness is a gift. Forgiveness is a gift that you give to somebody else, but you get to enjoy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Forgiveness is a gift that you give to other people that you get to enjoy. And sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself.
Yeah.
Learn to forgive yourself. I made a mistake. I made a choice. I made a bad decision. Okay, get up, get over it, and move on. Forgive yourself. You don't want God doesn't want you to stay there. He wants you to develop and grow from there.
Yeah.
So enjoy the gift of forgiveness.
And a lot of people, and to be honest, like that's key right there. We gotta forgive ourselves. We gotta forgive others. And let that love flow back out. Everything. So as we about to close out, hey, listen here. We had a winner already. Miss Molly, Angie Baker. Damn, put a real name out there. She won. She won for the special father, special man in her life. And I want you guys to be encouraged, be empowered, and just know that like word Lady B, love you for real. You know you can do about that. Right? All right, love you guys.
Love you guys. All right.